And welcome back to Let's Play Live Alive. Here we are in the Super Famicom version. Actually, sir, he's been with us the entire time. And the intro is slightly different in this version. He really cleaned his plow. Instead of the fancy animated scene, you're a regular curly whiff, aren't you? You get a little, shall we say, vignette of sorts of various scenes from the different chapters in the game. I kind of like this in its own way, although obviously it's not as dramatic as the intro in the HD version. Is that a robot? What are you doing? Looks like that robot's having some trouble. Of course, we've got the modern-day protagonist engaging in his workout. You still don't get it, do you? It's all about the mind. This is something that I really like about this fan translation. I thought so. Barikidayo is controlled by psychokinesis. Welcome to... Live Alive. And of course, the theme kicks in at that point. But one thing I really like about this fan translation is that each chapter gets unique fonts for its dialogue boxes, which I think is really cool. But that's far from the only thing to check out in the Super Famicom version. We can check out a few differences that are present in the game up to the point that we've actually reached. First order of business is, of course, checking out the hunting ground. It's a little bit smaller here. Also, in this version of the game, you walk quite slow and have a dash function. Some bits about battle that I did not go over. First off, one thing you'll notice right away about the Super Famicom battles is that you do not have the charge gauge, and your HP is represented strictly by numbers. You are not capable of seeing the enemy's HP naturally either. There are no visible charge gauges, but the game does still use a charge gauge-based system. Also, just one thing to point out here, Pogo's around the same strength that he is in the HD version currently, but look at how much damage Bash Bash does in comparison in this version. Some other things that I want to note about battle, of course, is that I didn't really go over too much, but every ability that you have has different ranges, tiles that it can be used on, AoEs. So you do need to be mindful about your position relative to the enemy in order for certain attacks to be able to hit them, such as Bash Bash. We need to be at least one space away from the enemy in any given direction. Not everything can hit diagonals. Some can only hit in cardinal directions, or some can, on the other hand, only hit in diagonals. One other thing that you can do in both versions of the game is that if you press on the shoulder triggers, you can rotate your character in place. Certain attacks will also have relative positioning depending on what direction your character is facing. So instead of making a whole move in order to get a move lined up properly, you can instead just rotate in place. Anyways, let's just take these things out. One thing to note about Gory, on the other hand, in this version of the game, he's actually quite weak. He is much stronger in the HD version, but in this version, oh, no, that's still not that bad. But he quickly falls behind Pogo in both versions, so it's not really too notable either way. One thing to note about the tracking system in this version of the game is that it still works pretty similarly, but you do not get the mini tracks indicating where exactly your mark is going. And indeed, it's a bit tougher to actually find things specifically, just because of that. Also, things are constantly wandering around, so it's entirely possible to get into an encounter while just standing in place. Other than that, the hunting ground, as I mentioned in the previous video, is a little bit smaller in this version of the game, and also there are no items to be found. There are strictly just hunts to engage in. There's also a greater variety of enemies that you're more likely to run into. I'm sure most of these can also be encountered in the HD version, but we're finding a lot of these things a lot sooner. That's all I really wanted to show in the SFC version up to this point. It'll probably be a little bit before we return to it. With that all being said, let us return to the HD version. Alright, and here we are, back again in the HD version. Before I start traveling along too quickly, just another thing I'd like to point out is the experience system in this game. When you gain experience, you gain up to 100 experience points, and when you reach 100, you level up. But the amount of experience you get scales pretty heavily depending on your level relative to the level of the enemy that you're fighting against. So even though it always takes 100 experience points to level up, the amount of experience you get drastically reduces as you gain levels. Also, something weird I noticed about the SFC version is that Gory, for whatever reason, levels up a lot slower than Pogo. I'm not really sure what the deal is with that, but Pogo, in that footage I was showing you from the SFC version, he was level 5, and just in that last encounter, Gory got up to level 5, even though Pogo starts at level 1 and was gaining experience at the same rate, theoretically the same rate. I don't really get it. Anyways, I am sidetracking, I am digressing. We need to take a load off. Gory has the right idea. Man, I wish I could sleep like that.
Hmm?
Looks like Gory has engaged in a little bit of nighttime strolling, and Pogo can't let his buddy just wander around randomly. He might get hurt. This guy is also engaging in a bit of his own sleepwalking. We'll just leave him to it. So, we have our handy-dandy compass icons to tell us that we should probably head over to the food storeroom. Oh, Gory, you better not be doing what I think you're doing. There's no time for a midnight snack. I mean, it's only 11 o'clock. Yeah, no. Anyways, here's Gory. Come on, man. Seriously? Did you? Alright, so he's in denial, but is it just me? Or did I see something move when we entered the room? Let's, Smells good, whatever it is. Well. Yeah, no such luck there. Nothing else we can really do in here, so let's just leave. Hey, wait a second. My sequence senses are tingling. Let's go back in here. Something isn't right. Meat doesn't just eat itself. Also, hey, a bone. There we go. Still can't take the food, unfortunately, but let's investigate this hay bale. Something about it. Living hay bale? Was it just me, or did somebody come out of it? Hey now. The scent never lies. You ain't getting away from me. I'm onto you, I'm onto you. You can do your little shell game all you want. I got you. Not exactly the most tact, Gory. Now, we could walk up to the hay bale, which we're going to do. Unfortunately, we're lacking in anything that we could use to form a connection with the hay bale, but I get the feeling that that hay bale is a little hungry, so perhaps a haunch of meat. It's an oddly sophisticated word to use for prehistory, I gotta say. Anyway, let's just take out our handy-dandy haunch, place it in front of the hay bale. Hey! Okay. Yeah, I'll just leave you to it. And now that we've exited the room, once again, our sequence senses are tingling. Let's return. If things are going in the predictable pattern, then... Hey, I suspected our haunch would become hidden. Let's see what else is hidden. And what are cave people without cave women? We've gotten a new party member. This is... Do we have a name for her? Well, I would like to see what her name is. Beru, there we go. So, remember all that stuff that I was crafting in the previous video that I said would be coming in handy later? Well, Beru is the one who can use it all. We can give her the Wild Heart Sack, which, whoa, look at that bonus there. Give her the Fast Whip, give her the Wild Heart Dress, and of course give her the Rough Bands, and all those pretty flowers. Those were created specifically for her, give a huge boost to her special attack. And now, she is quite the capable warrior in her own right, which will, I'm sure, come in handy when she gets her opportunity to get into a fight. Anyways, Gory, quit sleeping on the job. Alright, with our party fully formed, we now have to engage in some tactical espionage action, and sneak Beru into our room, where she can hopefully have a peaceful night's sleep, and not get caught for stealing meat from the storeroom. I guess somebody's gonna have to take the fall for it. I recommend Gory, personally. Unfortunately, heading back to the hallway, the Sleepwalker seems to have decided to take up a bit of a more permanent residence. Well, we can't just be having Beru out in the open. I mean, we don't see any other cave women here, so this might be a He-Man's Woman Hater Club cave colony. We're gonna have to disguise and hide Beru, and conveniently, she showed us the way to do this. Before the invention of the cardboard box, this is what prehistoric agents had to do when they wanted to infiltrate Shadow Moses. I mean, Pogo's bedroom. Anyway, with this incredible disguise that nobody could see through, I think we're ready to get this guy out of the way. But perhaps, Pogo, you should use a little bit more trickery, just in case. Alright, with that taken care of, actually, you know what? For a moment, I do actually want to take the Wild Heart, or not the sack, the Wild Heart dress off of Beru. Yes, strip her down, Pogo. I'm sure she appreciates it after getting such a nice dress. But I actually do want to hold on to that for a moment. We'll give that back to her later. But for right now, I think it's time to take a rest. We've only got 2 beds. Remarkably forward, Pogo. He's got some serious game. Gory was left out in the cold, but it looks like things ended up working out for him.
Mhm. Hmm?
Well, unfortunately for Pogo, that evening did not exactly go as he planned. But where is Beru? Well, take a wild guess. Unfortunately for us, the missing meat seems to have gone noticed, but Pogo was able to show some impressive deniability. Anyways, Gory, get up. We got some hunting to go do. So, we need to secure some meat for Beru, and now that Pogo is a certified hunter, hey, get out of here! Yeah, that's what I thought. But now that Pogo is a certified hunter, he can now access the hunting grounds at will. You do not have to have permission from the Elder to do so. Now, I want to just head over here real quick and craft one item. I forget what the exact recipe is, but I'm looking for a particular one. Let's try the pelt and the stick. No, that was the fire club. That's just a weaker weapon than what we already have. This is so slow to do. Let me see. I'm pretty sure, though, it's the pelt and one other thing. And I'll just, if I don't get it on the next one, I'll just go until I get it. Okay, horn spear. There we go. The pelt and the beast fang, I believe it was, got us a massive chest hair. That's just something that I want, not for its equipability, but something we can do with it in a bit. Anyway, let's make our way over here, and let's make our way over to the hunting ground. We just have to defeat enough enemies until we get a haunch of meat, and we probably will get a haunch of meat almost immediately. But, well, who knows? Actually, wait. Oh, do I, let me just check my inventory real quick. I'm, like, trying to think here. No, I think the game is just letting me know that's where I need to go. We do need to get a haunch of meat first, so let's get our way over to the hunting ground. See, sometimes the game signposting where you need to go can lead you astray when it's doing so too early. Alright, buddy, get out of my way. Thank you. Now, let us return to the hunting ground, and let's do some tracking. I keep hitting the wrong button when I mean to sniff. Use your sniffer, Pogo. And you too, Gory. We could use the help. Alright, make our way over here. And find a new enemy, a bison bull. This guy, a little bit more durable, but he's also weak to POW kick, and with all the attack power boosts... missed hit. But here we finally get to see, when you hit an enemy, more often than not, they'll immediately return fire with their own counter hit. So, yeah. When an enemy is vulnerable to a specific attack type, you get a pretty sizable bonus to the damage for hitting them. There we go. Already got a haunch of meat. And stench poot. That is a wind-based attack that allows Pogo to fart and do massive damage in a massive AoE. That's not exactly great damage. It also has a chance to poison, I believe. Let's take a look at it. We got some new enemies here, the Long-Tusked Sow and the Long-Tusked Hog. Both of them, conveniently, are weak to our Stench Poot ability. This one also turns the enemy, and enemies simply turning to face you in order to line up their AoEs or their designated attacking ranges is the same as them having to move all together, so it's a little bit imbalanced against them in that regard. Also, when you begin a fight with an attack that has a charge time, Stench Poot is our very first attack that has a charge time to it. You will just instant charge it. Now, let's try using it again, and you'll see that it's not going right away. One thing you can do is wait in battle to allow charge times to go forward. Personally, I just prefer to turn in place to advance charge gauges. It's a lot faster than hitting the wait command. There we go. Pogo can defeat his enemies by farting. Oh, Gory, please have some dignity over there. As you can see, Gory gets some pretty terrible stat gains from leveling up, which is pretty unfortunate for him, since he can't really use any equipment. But he has learned a very valuable attack there, Poop Throw. Let's take an opportunity to show off Poop Throw. I'll give you 3 guesses what he does with this attack. Now, Poop Throw is actually a pretty weak attack on its own. And honestly, it's just kind of weak in general. But the big important thing about it is that it is, one, it's a ranged attack with a good AoE that does more damage than the Scary Face ability. But 2, it creates a poison tile field. Damage tiles are tiles that, when enough time passes in battle, and we're just going to keep advancing time until it goes off, they will cause anybody who is standing in them to, of course, take damage. Poison tiles always deal the same damage. They deal 16 damage. One thing to note is that it is actually possible to have status resistances that allow you to absorb the damage of tile effects, and that can be pretty bad in certain boss fights, where the bosses have the ability to absorb tile effects. All too often, they will create tiles that they absorb, allowing them to restore huge amounts of HP, because bosses, they can be affected by multiple tiles when it comes to restoring HP, but not when it comes to taking damage. Yeah, the game kind of cheats like that. We'll be seeing plenty of that later, and in fact, we'll be seeing it later in this chapter. Now, we only just needed 1 haunch of meat, so with those 4 that we've gotten, I think we got 4, doesn't really matter. With the meat that we've gotten, we're ready to advance the story, so let's return to Beru, and let's try giving her some items. There's a handful of things you can give her to give different effects. The main thing, of course, though, is the haunch of meat, and that's what we need to give her to advance the story, but there is something else that we can give her for different reaction. And I believe there's a bunch of items you can attempt to give her that just result in nothing. I just want to save real quick, because I'm not exactly sure how this actually affects things going forward. I just don't want to lose any items. So, first things first, let's give her the chest hair. She was not impressed by that, and gave Pogo a quick slap. Poor kid, poor kid. Anyways, with that done, instead of that, why don't we give her the Wild Heart dress? Well, we'll just leave that to our imagination. Now, did we lose the dress for giving it to her there? I'm not sure if she equips it, if she takes it like that. I think we might have lost the dress there, so real quick, we want to reload our game so that I can just equip it back onto her once we advance the story properly. Yes, you can give her the Wild Heart dress to advance it, but that's more just for the bonus scene of doing so. Instead, let's give her the intended item, which, where is the haunch of meat? There it is. We only got 3, unfortunately. And get a quick smooch. Not exactly as grand a reward as the previous one we got, but Pogo is still content. And with that taken care of, now we can advance the plot. Returning to the main cave, we have to make our way over here as the orange diamond is guiding us. And, what's that guy looking at? Oh yeah, I forgot about the guys with the Fred Flintstone carts. Hey, you okay, buddy? He's out cold. We better go check that out. I have a feeling those guys aren't just around to play charades. Alright, Pogo, steel your nerves. We can't just let those guys hassle our tribe. Alright, so we are thrust into our first battle of the prehistoric chapter, and Bitter is helping us out. Anyways, these guys are the Coup Warriors. I don't think they're ready for the kind of gas that Pogo is packing. Now, Beru is going to be at a slight disadvantage in this fight because I took the Braveheart dress, or the Wildheart dress, off of her. So she's not going to have the defense she could have if I left that on her. We're going to have Gory just throw out some poop here, get some damage onto these guys, a little bit of damage on the lower guy, and of course take out the other guy entirely. You are not immune to your own poison tiles. Beru has Bam 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 and Kick Kick, which is a single hit attack. That's a bit more consistent with its damage compared to Bam Bam Bam, where a lot of the attacks can end up missing. Oof, boy, Gory took some nasty damage there. Let's make our way over to this guy. The poison tile damage will take out that other Coup Tribe warrior, and this guy is not going to stand up to a Bang Bash. Not quite as good as in the Super Famicom version, but it gets the job done. Pogo gets a level up here, alongside Beru. And it looks like, yeah, better stats than Gori was getting, but also she learned Sing Heal, which means that she can restore her HP without having to use an item. The prehistoric pretty boy, Zaki, seems pretty confident in his abilities, and is willing to take on Pogo and the rest by himself. Now, he has definitely got a lot more going for him than the average Ku Tribe warrior, but obviously he's at quite the numbers disadvantage here. Pogo got a new attack here, Sleep Trick. As you can see, it's a massive AoE with very low damage, but it has a good chance of putting enemies to sleep, giving you some form of crowd control, though I'm not a huge fan of it. Anyways, let's go for Pow Kick here. And yeah, unfortunately, Pow Kick is just so inaccurate. What? Oh dear. That is the first instance of a counter skill. What a fly lizard fly? Oh dear. Oof. I've heard of full frontal assault, but this is ridiculous. Anyways, that was a counter skill. There are certain skills that, when hit at certain ranges, they can either potentially trigger a counter or guaranteed trigger a counter, depending on the type of skill that you're hit with. Some skills in this game are specifically counter skills. Now, I want to take this opportunity to show off the Fertility Charm. It is a charge-based item. Use it and it starts charging up a spell. As you can see, it cures all status ailments and gives a bunch of buffs and heals a pretty good amount of HP. Let's move Beru into position here so that when the spell goes off, she will be able to get some healing there. There is a face kick from Zaki. Let's just let the Fertility Charm Pray Heal go. There we go. Yeah, check out that HP healing there. And it gives us an accuracy bonus, so it should make our other attacks a bit more reliable. Let's go for a Bam Bam Bam. As you can see, whoa, Beru! Check out that damage. Even having to suffer a counter Lizard Rock that, wow, nice AoE on that. And he's got a Power Fist. Unfortunately, he decided to go after Pogo. We're just gonna go for a standard Bang Bash here. This should deal enough damage to finish him off. Not a complicated fight at all. As you can see, the lizard is trying to redeem Zaki's honor, but a bit of a lost cause for him. And with that, our boss battle is finished. So, if you were expecting a hero's reward for our efforts, well, unfortunately, the Elder is strictly against having chicks in the cave. I mean, it's just gonna cramp the style of the place. With that, we are in exile. Looks like one of our compatriots is having a little bit of regret, but unfortunately, this is the first tragedy of Live Alive. We are exiled, and all that is left to do... Oh, Pogo's sad. I actually never noticed that. I feel bad for him. But all that is left to do, really, is to hunt in the wilderness and hopefully find a place that we can stay. Now, I am about to wrap up the video, but there is actually something we want to do. Also, I want to make sure to give the Wild Heart dress back to Beru. Didn't matter too much that we didn't have it for that boss fight, but it might come in handy later. So, one thing that we want to do is we do want to engage in some tracking, and I wasn't kidding when I said we want to do some hunting. we want to take the time to go out and do a bunch of fighting, and there are some tough enemies out in here. Look at this elephant bull. He's even tougher than Zaki was. So we're gonna have to be mindful of what this guy is capable of. But we want to spend time leveling up Beru. So let's see, first order of business, let's use the fertility charm here, and let's just move into a space where Beru is a little bit safer. Let's have her use Sing Heal. As you can see, AoE, no charge time, and gives a good amount of healing, and an offense buff. Very nice stuff there. Now the reason I'm having Gory use the fertility charm is so that we can get the accuracy bonus from that. So let's have him charm us up, pray heal. And then we'll go for a Bang Bash from Pogo, and then Beru will go in with a Bam 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 for the kill. With the accuracy bonus, most of the hits should connect. Plus, just look at that, 30 extra damage just from the buff that we got. Alright, and I believe buffs in this game, buffs and debuffs, can stack up to 3 stages. So once you hit them up to 3, you're set to go there. One accuracy buff wasn't enough to make sure that every hit connected, but it was still enough to make sure that most of them got through. As Beru gains levels, she'll be able to more consistently hit things with the accuracy you get just from leveling up. There we go. Really tough enemy, but nothing we couldn't handle. And a huge amount of experience. And we got a new skill for Pogo there. Nothing new for Beru. Let's just take a look at that ability we got. But I actually do want to spend some time hunting. Specifically, I want to get Beru up to level 6. If you're playing the Super Famicom version, you want to get her up to level 7. There's a very particular reason for it, and it's overkill to do this, but in the interest of showing off everything, I really do want to get her up to that level 6 marker. And the new skill that Pogo got is Poke Bind. This is a grappling type skill that has a chance to stun the enemy. Even though its damage is medium, I believe it keys off of special attack instead of physical attack like Bang Bash does, so it doesn't hit quite as hard. The stunning effect is quite useful though, so keep that in mind. With that established, I will take the opportunity to get to the levels I want to be at off screen, and when we return, our training will be done and we will be ready to advance. One thing to note is that time does actually advance while you're out in the wildlands. As you can see, it'll be getting darker, so when we return with the next video, it will be nighttime. As always, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Until then though, goodbye.